Okay, it's a fairly exciting start to the morning. We're with the flat rock male leopard. First he was just lying on the road. He turned his head and we saw he was salivating heavily from his jowls, and that's generally an indication that there's another leopard of the same sex in the area. Now it's confirmed very quickly by the fact that another one called a couple hundred meters away. Leopards only compete for territory with other leopards of the same sex. They don't compete male versus female. That's only for food, but for territory it's only with the same sex. So we're following him now. Interestingly enough, the flat rock male started walking away from that other call, and I'm not sure who that is. I don't know which leopard is calling to the east there, because I would have normally thought that that would be the flat rock male's territory, but he doesn't seem too interested in warding off that threat, and he didn't even call back himself. So Sean is closer to where the other male was calling. I'm going to call it a male. The guinea fowl alarming in the block, and Sean's having a look to see if he can find it. We're going to stick with the flat rock male, see where he goes. It's been a relatively quiet couple of days when it comes to leopards, but we were expecting to start bumping into them again today, because generally you'll find after heavy rains the territorial scent that they leave behind, or at least the territorial individuals do, gets washed away. So they have to re-establish those territorial boundaries, and I'm pretty sure this is what we're seeing now. So this is the flat rock male going around marking the edges of his territory once more, and the tricky thing for him is he was going to be pretty limited in crossing the river. A substantial portion of his territory is north of the river. We're on the southern side now. We'll show you on a map here. And I don't know which male this is further east. I'm not too sure. I doubt maybe it's even the Shimungu young male calling for the first time, and the flat rock male is a little bit tolerant. Although that's unlikely. I don't think he'd be salivating this heavily. Maybe it's a new male coming in the wake of the cyclone. I don't know, another male expanding territory. Okay, well, we just when we were saying we didn't think anything would happen, we turned around and we saw what looks like the Maxim's male disappearing briefly into a thicket. He's a very skittish male, and I don't think we're going to get much of a view of him. That's a guinea fowl alarming where he's moving in the bushes now. No, he tends not to like being seen by the vehicle, so we'll stay nice and quiet and hope he relaxes enough to come out into the open. Okay, well, we left the leopards. I don't think there was too much to be seen. Flat rock male was lying in a thicket, and the Maxim's male was still calling from a deep thicket. We hadn't managed to get a view of him. Now we've got tracks of a pride of lions going this way. I think it's the Ntsevu pride, or at least some of them. I know there were 3 lionesses and a male not too far from here. Wait, that was 2 days ago. I don't think we saw them yesterday evening. No, we didn't. But now these tracks are good. They're from last night. Let's see if we can find them. So you can see here where one of the Birmingham males would have come for a drink of water. You can see where his front feet were placed as he bent down to drink. Lions are quite particular about where they drink. They'll generally prefer a fresh pool of rainwater if they can get it. The water's a lot cleaner. They're trying to avoid drinking from bigger water holes that have time to accumulate debris and dung, and the water's not as nice. Plus there's the added danger of crocodiles in larger water bodies. So a nice little pool like this with rainwater that fell over the last 24 hours is far preferable. So we can age the tracks by what has walked on top of them or what he's walked on top of. There's some impala tracks that are fairly fresh, and this lion walked on top of the impala, so he walked past here in the last hour or so. So we're not far. Some impala out in the clearings here, but they're fairly subdued at the moment. But about 20 minutes, half an hour ago, the guys said they went absolutely ballistic, and they were all looking into this thicket over here. There were monkeys going crazy, which says that there's a leopard somewhere around here, or at least there was. Now generally you'll find that impala alarm at 3 distinct volumes. 1, when they've seen a predator. 2, when the predators had a go at them. And 3, if one of them's actually been hit, they go crazy. It's like an insane volume of alarming. So we're fairly sure there was a leopard here. Judging by how much of a noise the impalas were making earlier, we think maybe it's killed something. So we're just going to take a slow walk in here. It's fairly thick. Just see if there's any sign. Apparently there was a hyena around. So any self-respecting leopard would have tried to hoist a kill very quickly to get it out of reach. Quick walk, see if there's anything, and then if nothing, we'll carry on. We spotted the hyena that the guys saw earlier. It was just lying at the base of a marula tree, having a scope. So we're just scanning the tree to see if there's maybe a kill hoisted in it. Can't see anything. This is where we check the trees carefully. So this would be a perfect tree for a leopard to hoist in. Easy climb, nice branches to drape a kill over. But I think in there, Mashabane riverbed is just up ahead here, and I think best bet for a leopard, if it's not in this tree, would be to go towards the river, because there'd be thick trees there. There's a line that looks like something's walked in the grass here, or something's been dragged. So we're just going to follow that on a beeline towards the river. See if it leads anywhere. Nothing so far, but it's just nice being on foot, especially chance to walk along the Mashabane riverbed while it's flowing. This happens. Ooh, there's some tracks here. Bet they're hyenas, and they're not fresh. Yeah, this happens so. Hey, whoa. No, it's still hyena. Oh, it's only after the most intense rain that this riverbed flows, and it'll trickle for another couple of days, and then it'll all soak in, and we'll have to wait till the next big storm. But nice to get the feet wet for now. Okay, so we're back out in the open now. Found nothing in the thickets there towards the river, not even a track. So just given the alarm calls, there almost certainly was a leopard here, but we've got no sign of it. Nothing to tell us which direction to look in, so it might have moved on. It might still be lying here hoping for a crack at the impala, although Seems like they've moved off, so we shall as well. So after the rains, frogs come out and they make, well, they're always around in the summer, but they make an enormous racket. At the moment, you can hear this. That wasn't a very solid impression, but the main noise we're hearing is the banded rubber frog. That loud. Lots of them calling. I haven't heard this many calling for ages. So we're going to see if we can find one of the very pretty frogs. And what's cool is you'll never hear them calling over the top of each other. So in order to maximize their chances of attracting a mate, they share the sort of soundscape. So one calls, the next calls, and they all slot in. Otherwise, they would all just be kind of negating each other's call. We're still having no luck finding one.
I've never gotten into the tan so intimately before. Anchoring down.
Yeah, coming now.
It's got a whole lot of foam all attached to these pieces of grass here. We did hear a frog calling from this area. Just gonna have a closer inspection and see if we can find any frogs of any kind here.
So this morning we're sitting briefly with one of the Ntsevu females lying on the road back here, grooming herself. This pride is scattered to the wind at the moment. We've heard lions roaring from at least 4 different spots in the reserve, and they were roaring all through last night. So I think a portion of the pride's been found by Nick in a nice open area down this way, about 2 kilometers away. We're going to go there next, and then it sounds like there are a couple of males roaring not too far from them. So we're going to see if we can find them all this morning and kind of piece together exactly what's happened over the last 24 hours or so. So we've just arrived at the next group of lions that Nick has found just ahead of us. It's a couple of the sub-adults of the Ntsevu pride, and there's one Birmingham male here. But there's a rhino bull who's making his way closer. So let's just see what happens. If he comes past these lines, we might see something. We might see a bit of action. So we were hoping for some fireworks there, but that rhino didn't seem too interested in the lions. I don't even know if he realized they were there. But he's scent marking heavily. He went straight to a midden, he gave a bit of a huff and a puff, and he gave a bit of a snort as he went to mark on that midden. So from the looks of the way he's moving, I think he's on the scent of another bull. And this rhino bulls operate a lot by scent, marking territory and challenging each other. If a bull wants to challenge another bull, mark on his midden, and then when the territorial bull comes and smells the rival's dung, he'll then follow his scent trail and realize, hey, hang on, there's an intruder here, and off he goes, pursues him, and they'll have a bit of a set too. So yeah, he's wandered off into the bush, and the lions are falling asleep now. There was another lion calling behind us here, so I think that's the second Birmingham male, so we're going to go and see if we can find him His pride is scattered to the wind now. I mean, we're trying to make sense of who's where and what's happening. The first female we saw looks like she might be pregnant, so that's quite an exciting development. But we'll have to wait a good few weeks before we see any little ones.